Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Grandma. Today I have two dessert recipes for you. The first one, we are going to make peanut butter cupcakes. These are really good. They're not overly sweet. They're nice. You can't put them in the kids' lunch pails if their school is peanut free, but they're good for a snack at home. The peanut butter provides a lot of protein, and they don't have a lot of sugar in them, so they're just right for a snack. And then the second one we're going to make are chocolate chip cookies, but I'm going to be using white chocolate, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with how I get the white chocolate. White chocolate's very expensive in the stores. I'm going to show you a trick. So let's get started with the peanut butter cupcakes. The first thing you need is 1 cup of flour. This you can do when I first got this recipe, you took all these ingredients and you put them in a food processor and mixed it all together. I'm not going to drag out my food processor today. You can also just mix it in a bowl. So there's 1 cup of flour. You want a pinch of salt, which means like about 1/4 of a teaspoon. That's in. And then you want a teaspoon each of baking powder and baking soda. Get my 1 teaspoon measuring spoon here. 1 teaspoon, and remember the trick, always scrape it across the top, so then you get a nice level spoonful of your baking powder. You don't want extra, especially with baking soda. If you don't mix it properly, it doesn't taste very good. Do the same thing with the baking soda box. You just scrape it along, and there you go, an even spoonful. So then we're going to just take that and we're going to mix it really well. Get the baking powder, baking soda mixed in really good with the flour. And if you don't want little spots, the baking soda is really not a very good flavor when you bite into it. If you have a cookie, it's kind of like a weird, kind of salty-ish kind of. It's hard to describe unless you've actually bit into a cookie or a piece of cake that the baking soda wasn't all the way mixed in. You won't know. It's not good. Okay, so to that, we're going to add 1/4 cup of butter. Measuring spoon here. This is pretty easy. It's just all straightforward ingredients. It's not a lot of back and forth. You don't have to add this and mix and add that and mix. You know, just like throw it all in a bowl and get her done. That's what you want to do. So 1/4 cup of butter and 1 cup of peanut butter. So today what I'm going to be doing, it calls for 1 cup of peanut butter. I've got a little bit of crunchy peanut butter left. It's not a cup, so I'm going to use that and then just make up the difference with smooth peanut butter. Just to use it up. Plus it'll give it a, every so often you'll get a little peanut in there. Right, finish it right off. So you might, sometimes when it gets right down to the end of the jar and you can't get it out, you're kind of scraping and just kind of rubbing itself all on. You want to get a rubber spatula and get in there and scrape the sides and get all that out of there. So there it was about like 1/4 of a cup. It wasn't much. So now I've got my regular peanut butter to make up the difference. And we'll just put that in there. So 1 cup of peanut butter going in. And I didn't do this trick. I think I told you about it before. If you're measuring anything like peanut butter or molasses or anything that's kind of sticky like this, if you put a little drop of melted butter or honey in the bottom of the measuring vessel beforehand, it just slides right out. You don't have to scrape to get it out. Okay, so now to that we need 1 cup of brown sugar. That's the sweetness in here. That's it. It's not regular sugar and brown sugar. It's not 4 or 5 kinds of sugar. 1 cup. So 1 cup of brown sugar is equal to, usually the ratio is 1 cup of sugar, equal amounts of sugar and flour. So I put 1 cup of flour, so it's 1 cup of brown sugar. So that's it. You're going to mix that in. Couldn't really be much easier. And it seems like it's a little dry till it gets mixed in, but once the peanut butter gets incorporated in there, it's not dry at all. And again, you can put this in your food processor and process it and whirl it together, and it kind of creams it up real easy. You can use a mixer if you have a strong mixer. I'm just going to mix it by hand. If it looks a little bit like it's too dry, you can add either a little bit more butter or just a touch of milk. Now this is looking rather dry for cupcake batter, so it's making sure I didn't miss anything. Flour, salt, baking soda, baking powder, butter, brown sugar, peanut butter. Yeah, that's it. That's all it goes. I want to make sure I wasn't missing like an egg or... Oh yes, I did. I missed the egg. I knew it had to have something more liquidy. It was just further on down the list. So now we're going to put the egg in. It makes more sense now that I read it a little bit further on. I haven't made these in quite some time. They were a favorite when my kids were little. They'd come home from school and want a snack, and they'd have a peanut butter cupcake. They're good, but you can't send them to school. You can't send them to school bake sales. Well, sometimes church bake sales, but even then I usually hesitate because I don't want anybody getting sick. I don't want people buying stuff or sometimes just having it in the room causes a reaction. So there it is. That is really thick dough. We're going to add just a tiny bit of milk to this, just to wetten it up a little bit, because it's very, very thick. It's supposed to be. This is a dry batter. It's not like most cake batters, but you want it so dry you can't get it into your muffin pans. There. So now we're going to fill up the muffin cups the same as you would regular cupcakes, about 3/4 of the way full. Because you put in baking powder, they're going to rise, so you don't want to fill them up too full. Give that one more stir. There we go. Alright, I lined my baking pans with the cupcake paper, and you could put a good heaping tablespoon like that of batter into the muffin tins. That usually works out to filling it up just right. It makes it a little easier than just kind of putting a little at a time in and just, okay, is that half? Is that 3/4? Now just put a whole spoonful in. And if it's a little more than 3/4, it's okay. You're just going to get bigger muffins. But don't forget, make them all the same size so they all bake the same. If you have some that are filled right to the top and some that have like a teaspoon in, you want to make mini muffins. If that's the case, buy yourself some mini muffin pans. Because if you make mini muffins and big muffins together, the little ones are going to bake off first, and by the time you take them out, you're going to have burnt little muffins and cooked big muffins. So this recipe makes exactly 1 dozen peanut butter cupcakes. You can frost these. I do have a recipe for peanut butter frosting, which basically is the same thing as regular frosting, is you just add peanut butter to it. You know, there's nothing fancy about that. No big surprise there. You can make cream cheese frosting, would be really nice on these. And just leave them just like they are. You don't even have to frost them. And this guy decided it wanted a tip. There we go. Just one. So it took like what, 5-6 minutes to make those batters. I don't like recipes that take too long, too drawn out. And there you have it, 1 dozen peanut butter cupcakes. So I'm going to get those in the oven while we make our cookies, and these will be ready by the time the cookies are done and ready to bake. They have to bake about 30 minutes or so. 20 to 30 minutes. I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes, and we'll take it from there. We'll see how long it goes. So my next recipe, break it. I'm missing a glass bowl. Okay, so my next recipe is chocolate chip cookies. Only today I'm not using regular chocolate. I'm using white chocolate. And I'm not even using the white chocolate that you buy at Wolf Barn, at a grocery. I'm not using white chocolate chips. You don't get very many in the package and they don't go very far. What I have here is leftover Easter bunny. Let's see if I can get that into the camera there. My leftover Easter bunny from Easter. I like white chocolate, so my kids get me a great big white chocolate bunny. That's what's left of him. I took his ears. So what I like to do is all the stores, like Dollarama, most grocery stores, Walmart, when the season is over, you can put away the decorations. You can't put away the food, the candy. What you don't sell, you either have to reduce or unfortunately throw out. When I worked at Dollarama, we did that, and that's what I do. I wait till the sales, I wait till the season, the Easter, Christmas, Valentine's Day, whenever you get chocolate, I wait till they're over and everything is reduced, like 2 for $1, 3 for $1. I buy a bunch of it and then I chop it roughly like I'm doing here. You don't have to make these all the same size. That's what makes the cookies good, because they're chocolate chip, chocolate chunk. And when you get dark chocolate, like at Christmas time, there's some kinds of little chocolate balls. Some have caramel in them, some have nuts in them. Every bite is different. So that's what makes this good. So that is what I'm going to do with my leftover bunny. I'm going to make some white chocolate chip cookies. And there, it's all nice and chopped. I'm going to set that aside till I make my batter. Okay. Now, chocolate chip cookie. Where's my recipe? Alright, we need 1 cup of butter, oleo, same thing. We always use the same. Sorry, just had to grab another spoon. Some people use actual butter. Some people use margarine. It doesn't matter, whatever your taste is. I've used real butter. I honestly didn't notice much of a difference in taste. Some people swear that they taste much better with butter. I tried it when, I've bought it a couple times when butter's been on sale and stuff, but no, margarine just as well. So in goes 1 cup. And, chocolate chip cookies, just use your favorite recipe. They're all the same. They're all basically the same recipe. You can switch it up by using different kind of chocolate. Or if you don't have brown sugar, I've sometimes went to make chocolate chip cookies and was out of brown sugar, and you can just use white sugar. They're just light. They call them blonde. Like when you do brownies with white chocolate, they're blondies because there's no brown. They don't turn brown. So to that we need 1 cup of brown sugar. I do have brown sugar today, so that's what I'm going to be using. I'm going to mix this in with the butter before I add anything else, just because you want it nice and creamy. Normally I would just throw everything in a bowl and go to it, but today it's a little humid in where I am, so it's been raining for like a month straight pretty much. I think we've had 3-4 days in April that we haven't had any rain, so it's pretty humid. So my brown sugar is a little clumpy. You just chop it up. Once it gets mixed in with the butter, just chop it. If you see big lumps, just mix it up. I tried sifting brown sugar one time. Oh no, that's a chore. It doesn't really sift very well, especially big chunks. So I find it better just to put it in the bowl and chop it. And you can put it in the microwave and soften it up. That works. Just only do it like in 30 seconds at a time, because any longer than that, it gets hard. It gets worse. So there is the brown sugar and the oleo. Now to that I need 2/3 of a cup of white sugar. A lot of sugar going on in these cookies. And 2/3 of a cup of white sugar. I'm going to give that a mix. Sometimes it's easier to mix things as you add them, because then you don't have to struggle so hard. And if you don't have a big enough bowl and it doesn't get mixed in, these are my brand new bowls that Dinah Brody gave me for Christmas to do my videos with. So to that, we're going to add 2 eggs. There we go. 1 egg. Some people, and I have done this because it's really, you should, you crack an egg into another bowl. That way if you get a shell, you can take it out without digging through your batter. Didn't do it today, I just crossed my fingers, and there we go. So in goes the eggs, going to give that a quick mix. And then to this, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Again, you can use your cap for the measuring. It is exactly 1 teaspoon. I never believed it when I saw cooks doing it on TV. Tried it, and it's exactly 1 teaspoon. So we want 2 cups of flour. So we have half. I really got to buy those scoops that I was telling you all about. They have them at Dollarama, and they're measuring scoops, but they would fit into these jars that I have. And they have them 1 cup, 2 cup, and they're really nice. And I keep saying I'm going to buy them every time I go, and I never remember. It's never on my high list priority when I'm getting what other things I have to get. Okay, so we're going to put in the rest of the dry ingredients. Got the flour. Now we need a teaspoon of salt. That goes in. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And again, mix it really, really well, because I have it into a cookie that wasn't the mixture. It wasn't baked out. The baking soda wasn't mixed all the way through. Not a good flavor. And now we're going to mix all this in before we add our chocolate. You can go to places like Bulk Barn. They sell the chocolate chips, the white chocolate, the chocolate bark you can cut up, anything like that. But like I said, you go to the stores at the end of the season of the holidays, and you buy up, and you can freeze it. You can throw it if you don't want to use it all at once. Freeze it, and then whenever you think, oh gosh, I want to make some cookies and I don't have any chocolate chips, run to your freezer and grab out what you've chopped up. And now in goes the white chocolate bunny. Bye, bunny. You can add both. You can add white and dark chocolate and combine them. That makes really good cookies. Chocolate chip cookies, the name, obviously it means chocolate chip, but you don't have to use chocolate. You can use white chocolate. You can use a combination of both. You can use raisins. Just use the basic recipe for your cookies, and you're good to go. So there's our batter. It's all done. Short and sweet. I'm going to get my pans. I'm going to just grease my pans just a little. You don't always have to do this, except if you have like really good non-stick pans. These are non-stick-ish. They're well worn, they're well loved, well used, so from using them so often and washing them so often and just the heat of the oven, eventually the non-stick wears off. It's going to happen. I mean, if you want to spend $40 or $50 on a cookie sheet, then I guess you might be alright, but no, I'm just going to get me some regular old cookie sheets, and however they last. You can get parchment paper. Parchment paper is cheap and cheerful. You buy that, and line your pans with it, and that makes super easy cleanup. I sometimes leave the parchment paper right on and use it 2 or 3 times. If nothing has burnt on it, or it's not too crackly and dry, I'll use it a couple times. When I put my baking sheets away, I leave it right on the trays and just put them back in my cupboard and use them again. And I actually think I do have parchment paper. I know I have parchment paper. I bought it for a project I was doing, and I just totally forgot that I had it. That's alright, I just buttered them. It's okay. So you take a rounded teaspoon of dough of the batter. Put my sheet over this way so you can see how I'm doing this. You take a nice big teaspoon like that, and you just push it onto your cookie sheet. Just like that. It's so easy. I mean, it's so much nicer baking your own. You know exactly what is going into your cookies, cakes, pies, whatever. When you buy them at the store, nothing wrong with store-bought baked goods, but if you read the label, you're getting a whole lot of stuff you may not want to have. They have to put additives and preservatives to make them longer shelf life. even if you go to like the bakery section at Walmart, it's not quite as bad, but they do add things because when they bake them, they sit on the shelf, right? So unless you go to an actual bakery where they only bake up certain amounts for the day and then make more, you're not going to get food that doesn't have a bunch of chemicals and additives. And I figure if I can't pronounce it, I don't really want it in my body, because that just doesn't fly. So here we go. How quick is that? That took me, I set the timer for 20 minutes for my cupcakes. I started this and I have 8 minutes left on the timer. So that shows you how quick and easy you can make up a batch of cookies for your family. There's like nothing to it. Cookies, cupcakes, pies are a little bit more time consuming. If you make your own dough, or pie crust rather, and depending on what kind of filling you're using, if you make your own, if you have to chop the apples, or if you buy a can of filling, that's okay. But if you're making your own, so there we have it. And I'm just going to add just a touch. Now these will spread, so you don't want them too close together. But there you have it, white chocolate chip cookies. So I will finish these off, clean up my kitchen here, my mess, and I will get back to you when they're done and show you what we got. Alrighty, now we're back with our baked goods. I will show you the results. The peanut butter cupcakes are there. Now you do notice that they kind of sunk in the middle. This happens if you fill your cups up too full. I should have made them a little less full. I did it a little more than 3/4 full, and that's what happened. They sunk. They're still edible. They're still good. And you probably could have even used without paper for these, because they really don't, they're not going to stick. So we're going to take the paper off, and we're going to show you inside how nice and soft and moist it looks. But unfortunately, they fell. They're still good. They still taste good. Not a worry. That's just a hint for you not to fill your cups too full. And there is our white chocolate bunny chocolate chip cookie, and they come out perfect. So I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, hit the button, let me know what you like to see. Hit that notification bell, you'll know when I'm putting more recipes on. Let me know what you'd like me to bake or cook in the comment section, and I will get right to it. So everybody have a nice, sweet, happy day. Bye-bye now.